And verses. Thera. Kalyadayan. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Khuddhaka. He, going on in rebirth among gods and men, was born on the same day as our Bodhisat, in the family of one of the king's ministers at Kapilavatthu. Yes, on that one day were born these 7. The Bodhisat, the Bodhi tree, the mother of Rahula and the 4 treasures. The riding elephant, the horse Khuddhaka, Channa and Khuddhaka. Now on his naming day, the child was called Udayan, and because he was dark of feature he became known as Ka with Makron Udayan. He grew up as the playfellow of the Bodhisat. But later, when the Lord of the world had gone forth in the great renunciation, had become omniscient, and was staying in the bamboo grove near Rajagaha, rolling on the excellent wheel of the path, King Suddhodana heard of that, and sent a minister with a suite of 1,000, saying, "Bring my son here." And that minister and suite, arriving when the path was being preached, heard, and all becoming arahants, the Lord stretched forth his hand, saying, "Come you, Bhikkhus." And they are among the Aryas, did not deliver the king's message. And the like happened with other messengers. So the king sent Khuddhaka, saying, "This Udayan is of the same age as the 10-powered, and is akin to me and affectionate. I will send him. Go you, my dear, with 1,000 men, and bring the 10-powered one." So he went, saying, "If I, sir, may leave the world, then will I bring here the exalted one." "Whatever you do, show me my son," was the reply. He, too, did like the first minister and became arahant. Now he thought, not yet is it time for him to go to the city. When the rains have come, and the woods are in flower and the earth is covered with greenery, then it will be time. And when the time was come, he spoke these verses to the Lord, praising the beauty of the journey. Now crimson glow the trees, dear Lord, and throw away their ancient foliage in quest of fruit. Like crests of flame they shine irradiant. And rich in hope, great Lord, is the hour. Greenery and flower time in every tree. Wherever we look delightful to the eye. And every quarter breathing fragrant airs, while petals falling, yearning comes for fruit. It is time, O Great One, that we set out hence. Not over hot, nor over cold, but sweet. O Lord, now the season of the year. O let the Sakyans and the Koyans see you with your face set toward the west. Crossing the border river Rohini. In hope the field is ploughed, in hope the seed is sown. In hope of winning wealth merchants move about over sea. The hope I cherish, may that hope be realized. Again and yet again is seed in furrow sown. Again and yet again the cloud king sends down rain. Again and yet again the ploughmen plough the field. Again and yet again comes corn into the realm. Again and yet again do beggars go their round. Again and yet again the generous donors give. Again and yet again when many gifts are given. Again and yet again the donors find their heaven. Surely a great one lifts to lustrous purity. 7 generations past wherever he be born. And so I think can he, the vastly wise, the God of gods. In you is born in very truth a seer. Suddhodana is named the mighty Lord's father. And mother of the Buddha was our Queen Māyā. She, having borne the wisdom being in her womb, found, when the body died, delight in Tusita. She, Gautama, dying on earth, deceasing hence, now lives in heavenly joys attended by those gods. Now when the Exalted One, thus was asked, discerned salvation coming for many by his going, he set out attended by arahants, walking a yojana each day. And the Thera went by power of Iti to Kapilavatthu, into the king's presence. Who are you? He was asked. And he, if you know not the minister's son whom you sent to the Exalted One, know that I am he. Son of the Buddha I, yes, even of such as he. The Angirasa, to whom there lives not any equal, who that which is insuperable has overcome. And father of my father are you, Sakyan, to me you, Gautama, our grand lord in the path. Thera. Ikaviharaya. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Equals. Ikaviharaya equals. He was reborn in this Buddha age, after the Exalted One had passed away, as the youngest brother of the king Dhammasoka and King Asoka. In the year after that passing away, having united all India in one empire, and made his own younger brother Tissa viceroy, enlisted Tissa's friendship for the Sasana by a single stratagem. Now the prince, while hunting, was so impressed at the sight of the Greek Thera, Mahadamarakita, seated under a tree, that he also longed to live so in the forest. When he had seen the Thera's supernormal powers, he returned to the palace and told the king he wished to leave the world. Asoka could not in any way dissuade him. Longing for the happiness of the monk, he uttered these verses. If there be none in front, nor none behind, be found, is one alone and in the woods. Exceeding pleasant did his life become. Come then. Alone I'll get me hence and go. To lead the forest life the Buddha praised, and taste the welfare which the monk knows, who lives alone with concentrated mind. Yes, swiftly and alone, bound to my quest, I'll to the jungle that I love, the place of wild elephants, the source and means of thrilling zest to each ascetic being. In cold woodlands flowery glades cool waters lie, within the hollows of the hills. And there I'll bathe my limbs when hot and tired, and there at large in ample solitude I'll roam, lone and unmated in the lovely woods. When shall I come to rest, work done, heart cleansed? Oh that I might win through, who am so glad I only may achieve the task. In this, none for his fellow man can aught avail. I'll bind my spirit's armor on, and so the jungle will I enter, that from there I'll not come forth until Nibbana's won. I'll seat me on the mountain top, the while the wind blows cool and fragrant on my brow, and burst the baffling mists of ignorance. Then on the flower carpet of the wood, soon in the cool cavern of the cliff, blessed in the bliss of liberty I'll take mine comfort on you, old fastness of the crag. Lo! I am he whose purpose is fulfilled, and rounded as the moon on 15th day. Destroyed all deadly canker, sane, immune. I know rebirth comes never again for me. Thera. Kappa. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Kappa. Reborn before our Lord's birth in the border country at a town named Kukwa, in a Raja's family, he was named Kapinya. At his father's death he succeeded, as Raja Kapinya the Great. He, to extend his knowledge, would send men of a morning out of the four gates to the crossroads, telling them arrest to passing scholars and tell him. Now by that time our Lord had come into the world, and was living at Savatthi. And traders of that town brought goods to Kukwa and disposed of them. Then saying, let us see the king, they took gifts and announced themselves. The king accepted their gifts, saluting them, and asked from where they came, and what their country and king were like, and what sort of religion was theirs. Sire, they replied to the last question, we are not able to tell you with unwashed mouths. The king sent for a gold ewer of water, and they, with cleansed mouths and hands at salute, said, Sire, in our country the treasure of a Buddha has arisen. At the one word Buddha, rapture suffused the king's whole body. Buddha, say you, friends? And he made them tell him thrice that infinite word, giving them pieces. They told him also of the treasure of the path and of the monk's order, and he trebled his gift, and forthwith renounced the world, his ministers doing likewise. Now they set forth to find the Exalted One and came to the Ganges. There they made a determination by the power of truth, saying, if there be a Lord, a Buddha supreme, let not I and a hoof of these horses be wetted. Then they crossed on the surface of the full river, and so crossed yet another river, coming thirdly to the great river, Kandabhaga, which they crossed in like manner. The Lord, too, who on that day had risen at dawn, and, filled with great compassion, surveyed the world, discerning that today Kapinya the Great has renounced his kingdom, and comes with a great following to enter the monk's order. It is fit I go far to meet him. First went with a company of bhikkhus to Savatthi for alms. Then went himself through the air to the banks of the Kandaphaga, and sat down cross-legged under a great banyan facing the landing stage of the ford, sending forth the Buddha rays. Kapina and his men saw the rays darting to and fro, and said, "We are come on account of the Lord, and lo! Here he is." And they drew near, prostrating themselves. Then the Lord taught them the path, so that they were all established in arahantship, and asked to become monks. The Lord said, "Come, bhikkhus." And this was their sanction and their initiation into monkhood. Then he took them back with him through the air to the Jetavana. One day the Exalted One asked whether Kapina taught the path to the bhikkhus. They said that he lived inactively, enjoying his happiness. Kapina, when sent for, admitted this was true, and was told, "Brahman, do not so. From today teach the path to them that have arrived." Kapina assented, worshipping, and by his very first discourse established 1,000 monks in arahantship. For that reason the Lord assigned him the foremost rank among those who taught the monks. Now one day the Thera taught the sisters as follows. "Can you but see that which is coming before it come, and mark such business as will benefit or harm? Nor foes nor friends, however they seek, will find a rift. The man by whom the breathing exercise with self-control is to perfection brought, practiced with method as the Buddha taught. He casts a radiant sheen about the world, as did the moon emerging free from cloud. Lo! Now the mind of me is white indeed, expanded beyond measure, practiced well. Its nature understood, and strenuous, shedding a radiance on every side. The wise man is alive and he alone, although his wealth be utterly destroyed. And if the man of wealth do wisdom lack, for all his wealth he did not truly live. Wisdom is arbiter of what is heard. Wisdom did nourish honorable fame. With wisdom in his company a man, even in pain and sorrow finds joys. Here is a fact that's not of yesterday. It is not abnormal nor anomalous. Where you are being born, you also die. What have we there except what is natural? For after being born we do but lead a life that is a dying hour by hour. Whoever are born in that same life they die. Such is the nature of all living things. That brings no good to the dead which is good for the living. Mourning the dead is no honor nor purification, nor is it praised by the wise, by monks and Brahmins. Mourning afflicts the eye and the body, makes waste comeliness, strength of body and mind and intelligence. If he be careless, all the four quarters become cordial well-wishers, even if his lot be not happy. For that reason let laymen desire to receive in their family none but them that are wise and discreet and much learned. They by the power of their wisdom accomplish their business, even as a boat did effect a crossing over the full river. Thera. Khuddhaka. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Khuddhaka. His previous story is told in the 8th chapter, in the Theragatha of Mahapandhaka. The remainder is told in the commentary on the Khuddhaka Nikàya. He, on another occasion, uttered these verses. Sluggish and halt the progress that I made, and therefore was I held in small esteem. My brother judged I should be turned away, and asked me, saying, Now do you go home.